Hello bookworms! Today I'm going to be doing a video all about my 2018 Classics Reading Challenge. I talked about this challenge in my 2018 goals and reading challenge video, but you all wanted to see my full Classics TBR for the year in case you wanted to join in along with me, so I am here to make that video for you. This challenge was created by me and Alexa of Alexa Loves Books. Both of us really wanted to read more classics in 2018 and make that a focus of our reading life, so we have decided to read 1 to 2 classics per month. Usually when we're reading 2 classics in a month, it's because we're reading something on the shorter side. We're definitely not being like, read The Count of Monte Cristo and another classic in a month. I don't think that any of us would have time for that. This is like a very low-key challenge. I am just letting you guys know in case you want to read the same books as me during the same months. That way we can discuss them. So there are some months where Alexa and I's choices have overlapped, and then there are other months where we're reading different things. You can go over to her YouTube channel and watch her video to see which classics she's reading, because it will definitely be a little bit different from the ones that I am reading. I'm not really going to go into a synopsis on any of these because you guys can just look them up on Goodreads and find them, and I think that a lot of people are already familiar with them. I'm just excited to read all of these because they are such well-known books and they hold such important ground, and they really paved the way for the books that we read today. And I always think it's interesting to see how all of the conflicts that other characters are facing, while they may use different language and wear different clothes, a lot of the fundamentals and the relationship issues are very similar to things that we currently face today. So it's funny to me how a character from hundreds of years ago can be relatable. I really like that experience while I'm reading. Here is my 2018 Classics TBR. So for January, I am going to be reading Jane Eyre by Charlotte Bronte. I also did not get to read my December classic because I just had so many library loans come off hold at the same time. So I'm also going to be reading A Little Princess by Frances Hodgkin Burnett. My February classic read is going to be Sense and Sensibility by Jane Austen. In March, I will be rereading Rebecca by Daphne du Maurier. I have already read this book. I read it when I was in high school and I enjoyed it, but I think that I will appreciate it so much more now. And this is actually a 2 classic month. The other book that I'm going to be reading this month is The Little Mermaid, but specifically the Minalima edition, which is releasing in March. Their books are just so beautiful. I have the current 3 that they've already published, which are Peter Pan, Beauty and the Beast, and The Jungle Book. So I'm really excited to add this one to my list and to read it and to just see all of the beautiful artwork that's going to be inside of it. My classic read for April will be The Enchanted April by Elizabeth von Arnim. This one I will tell you a little bit about because it's definitely a lesser known classic. This one follows 2 women who are bored with their everyday lives. So they rent this castle in Italy and they meet these 2 other women who are kind of like bored society women, and it's all about this month that they spend together in this castle on their vacation. It sounds really good, and I figured it made sense to read The Enchanted April in April. In May, I will be reading The Picture of Dorian Gray by Oscar Wilde. In June, I will be reading Emma by Jane Austen. This one is another 2 classic month. The other classic that I'm planning on reading in June is The Secret Garden by Frances Hodgkin Burnett. And while I do have other copies of The Secret Garden, the other book that Minalima is also coming out with in 2018 is an edition of The Secret Garden, so I specifically want to read that edition. In July, I will be reading Wuthering Heights by Emily Bronte. In August, I am planning on reading Madame Bovary by Gustave Flaubert. Probably didn't say his name right. September is again a 2 classic month for me. The first classic that I will be tackling is Dracula by Bram Stoker. And the second one that I want to read is We Have Always Lived in the Castle by Shirley Jackson. This is a very short classic and I have heard nothing but wonderful things about this and about how scary it is, so I'm really looking forward to reading it. In October, I am planning on reading Frankenstein by Mary Shelley. I'm really excited to read this one because this is often credited as being the first sci-fi novel ever written, and it was written by a teenage girl, which is even cooler. And also, 2018 is actually the 200th year anniversary of Frankenstein, so seems like a good time to check it out. In November, I want to read The Woman in White by Wilkie Collins. This book is credited with being the first gothic horror novel that incorporated a psychological thriller element to it. I think that is super cool. That really is what piqued my interest, and all I hear is how atmospheric this book is, so I've been really looking forward to reading this one. And then finally, in December, I am planning on reading A Christmas Carol by by Charles Dickens, and I am also planning on reading The Nutcracker by E.T.A. Hoffman because I had been planning on reading that in 2017 and I didn't get to it, and I totally meant to. It's in the other room, which is why I don't have it to hold next to me right now, but that is also a short one, so I feel like I'll be able to read both of those with no problem. So those are all of the classics that I'm planning on reading in 2018. There are so many of them here, so I'm really pleased with that stack, and I will be thrilled if I can add all of these to my I have read these classics list. I think I might want to make a list of all of the classics that I have ever read. Ooh, that would be a good bullet journal page. I think I'm gonna do that. That's just a fun thing to keep track of. Let me know if you're gonna be reading any classics this month. Let me know if you want to read any of them around the same time that I'm planning to. I will see you guys soon in a new video. Bye!